Hi guys, it's Penny Fleming with the Real Life Woman in a very, very cold Texas right now. We don't usually get weather this cold, and we kind of all just come to a stop when it happens. So, you guys in the north who are used to this and have still have work and still have school and all of that, we honor you because we just stopped. We are going to start something called Motivation Monday. And today's an easy one. It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day or Civil Rights Day. I think they've renamed it. But I am of the age that I remember Martin Luther King and his freedom walks. And growing up, we lived in Baltimore when there were riots and they were burning downtown Baltimore. We could see the smoke coming up from our apartment that we lived in. I lived in Roswell, Georgia, where the church that we visited, that we went to every week, there were still bloodstains on the floor in the um, worship place. No, I can't, sanctuary. That they had used the church as a Union soldier hospital, and so there was still um, bloodstains there. And then I was in Texas when a little small town desegregated, and we went to school for the first year with people of color and the white kids together. I at that school made a friend of a little, we called them colored girls, a little colored girl, and she and I were in fifth grade, I think. And she came to school one day just kind of all messed up, just crying and tearful and hurt. Somebody had burned a cross in her family's yard. So I have seen the nasty side of of people just looking at one another as a color, and that's not what we are. I saw last week this wonderful story. I don't know how I came across it. I don't know if you guys remember um, Kid President, and it was an update on him and what he was doing now. And they went to Selma, Alabama to see what was happening there. So Martin Luther King had freedom walks, and they started in Selma, Alabama. And they now have a museum there, and they have a docent program. One of the ladies who is a docent is named, let me make sure I'm saying it right, Joanna Bland. And she was 11 years old and a freedom marcher. So it was really interesting to me that she said she didn't start marching to change anything except she wanted to be able to go to the drugstore in town on the corner. It was called Carter Drugstore. She said it's still there. It's on the corner, and drugstores used to have lunch counters, and you would sit on a stool and the stool would turn around and you could just have a lot of fun on that stool eating ice cream, and the little white kids could anyway. She would be looking in from the outside while her grandma was talking to her friends. And she was just wishing that she could step up to that counter and be able to sit there and eat ice cream with the other kids. One day, her grandma told her, when we get our freedom, you'll be able to sit there the same as those white kids. And that day is the day that she became a freedom fighter. She said she didn't understand that they were changing the world. She thought every little kid was doing what she was doing. And she just wanted to have the same things that those little white kids had. So, fast forward, she is now a docent at that museum. And when people ask her, because every time there is something happens in the world, I think we all kind of stop and say, okay, but what can I do about it? Right? And every day she says, someone asks her, What can I do? How can I make it better? And she said she tells them to go home and start in their little circle with their little circle of friends and people that they have um, not control over, but that they can influence. And that's where you start. And you start building out of love from right there. And that is so much what a real life woman is about, because it's not about having to change the entire world. It's only having to change your world. And if you can do that, then look at the magic that happens when you're shoulder to shoulder with other people who are trying to do the same thing. So that's my message today. Go out and just look at your world. Look at your insides. And is that world where you want it to be? And if it's not, then, look at what you want it to be and how can you make it there. And that is our motivation moment for this week. We will be back next week, and I'm trying to learn this new program. We will be back next week and be able to have another motivation moment. In the meantime, you guys go out and make some ripples in the world and make sure they're positive.